Okay, so now it is June 22nd of 2025. I don't know, people. All this stress. I swear, I get up in the morning and I can barely see anything. Like, I don't know what this doctor, he freaking lied to me. Like, seriously. Okay, do you see this? I gotta be careful because apparently there's these white and black hornets that are over there somewhere. They usually live by themselves, right? And they bury in the ground. You know, they're not your typical hornet. Anyway, Andre got stung with it, right? Oh my God, that's full of water. I guess it rained. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're gonna scoop up on some of these. I'm just wondering if there's any place I can put this camera. From what I can tell, nothing's flying around here, right? God forbid. Oh, that's all I need. Here's a stump. Okay. I'm gonna do, people, until I can't do no more. I'm working on Amari's cookbook. Okay? I Googled from, you know, let me see. I don't know. Mickey the gardener cat. Here we go. Okay. I Googled green leafy plants to see if I could. I've been calling this a marrow plant of some kind, but it's not really a marrow plant, but it's edible. Asians really like it. If I was to harvest this and drop it off where the Koreans go, this thing would be gone in a minute. Okay? I'm just saying. So I'm going to can this up today, some of it, with spinach. I bought 8 bunches of spinach yesterday, right? I'm going to keep 3 for inside the fridge after I cook it. And I'm going to combine this after I process it, because I know it's edible. Because I live on the farms. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to prepare for the winter. Whatever. I'm utilizing what God's providing to me at this point. I mean, eventually, I won't be able to do anything. I figure the reason I won't be able to do anything is because God is going to be giving me a bloody break from all the stress that I go through because of just whatever. Seriously, man. So anyway, I'm going to do until I can't do anymore. Now, I'm doing this for several reasons. Where am I? Where's the camera? Okay. I have to move so I can see the shadow of my hand moving. All right. I'm doing this for several reasons. Nutrition is one, obviously, right? After it's jarred up, it will be convenient to use in meal planning, whether for Andre or like for us, as the 3 of us, with a meal that I make for 3 of us, or for Amari's dish, okay, as I cook in his frying pans, okay? And I'm going to can this several times over the next little while in terms of, I'm going to can some straight up just by themselves in jars, as is. Today I'm combining it with some spinach, right? I might can a couple just singular, just because, you know, see how it reacts and stuff, right? Obviously, it's healthy, right? Because, you know, it's green, and now if I pressure, you know, you're going to pressure can it for 75 minutes, right? So I would think this, you know, you'd still have to pull this stringy stuff off. Do you see? Where's the camera? There it is. You know, I will do the best that I can in terms of pulling this off. And then you cut them into pieces, right? And you can can it as well. You eat the stem as well. And then you take these and you slice them and you saute them and you eat them with the sauce. Okay, either or. I'm going to be combining it in with Amari's food. I'm going to use a variety of sizes, some small, some large. These leaves can get really, really large. They're kind of a chewy, because like I said, it's a thick leaf, right? It's very stable, but with it being in the pressure canner for 75 minutes, it's going to be really good. Now that second batch of kale I had to throw out because I just didn't, with Amari having a seizure, I just couldn't do it right. So anyway, I bought fresh spinach, and I'm going to combine this with fresh spinach. Now the thing about the bigger leaves is, with the bigger leaves, you get the bigger stalk. Now eventually I'm not going to be able to see shit. So all I can do is either, I'm going to seriously work on this cookbook while I can still see, because it's getting scary with my eyesight. I've been pleading with this doctor to change this lens. This one. It's something wrong with it. It's been something wrong with it almost from the beginning. He says I get these moon bumps on it, because my eyes dry out. The house is so dry, whatever. But anyway, I want some of these thicker stalks. The only way you can get these thicker stalks is with the thicker leaves. And I'm figuring once it's canned up, it's going to be, the leaves themselves are going to be a little more, I don't know. But with Amari's food, it all gets grinded up. Even you could even grind it up for yourself and put it into soups and everything. Either or. This is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. This is pathetic, people. Why am I losing my eyesight? Tell me. Is it because I've been working too hard my whole freaking life? Nobody appreciates anything and it's time for me to rest, but I ain't gonna rest because I'm always gonna be afraid that somebody's gonna hurt me. Just hurt me. And I won't be able to defend myself. They'll feed me. Who knows what they'll feed me? It's not like I can go off and cook for myself, see what's going in my food. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they love me. Clearly, that's pretty plain to see. It's easy to say I love you, but it's another thing to show it. Right? But I can't worry about that right now. All I can do is just, I don't know, do what I'm doing. I don't know what else to do. And of course, we've got this problem. You can see what's going on in here. Andre's started to come outside and start pulling, but you be pulling your life away and then he'll end up blind. Because don't forget, you're getting shot up with fucking energy weapons. I'm sorry, boo-boo energy weapons yet. You know it's happening, right? Camera caught that shit too. Yeah. So, it doesn't hurt to try it. Right? If you were on the farm and you didn't have much to eat and you couldn't get to a grocery store, what would you do if you knew you could eat this? And like I said, the Koreans, they love it. They can't get enough of it. Yeah. So, I don't know how much I need. Maybe a bit more. Maybe. Yeah, if I could see. Here's some. It's all morning glory and weeds, people. That's all it is. This yard was the death of me. Yeah. It robbed me of my life. I swear. And it robbed me of my eyesight. It really did. Yeah. instead of going to the eye doctor, I had that whip on my back to work outside day after day, 10 to 12 hours a day. And then still be told it wasn't good enough. Be careful what you do when you do it. Well, look how big this leaf is. Look, look. I'm looking on the internet to try and get the name of this plant. But I can't. I don't know what to, I don't know. I can't find it. I just know that you can eat it. Okay. The rest of it's just weeds. And these weeds, they get so entwined and so deep in the ground. Okay. Well, why don't we start with this much first? What do you think? Maybe a couple more? That's a fair amount combined with the spinach, I would think. Yeah. So let's take these inside and see what we can do with them. You can't even take a lawnmower to this stuff. Yeah. It's terrible. So yeah, what happens is I sleep. And sometimes I get so tired I just sleep. I slept a lot yesterday. And now it's like, it's terrible. It's kind of going to like the way my dream showed me my eyes would be like. I could still see, but it was rough. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut off this part. And I'm going to let them soak in water for a while. Alright? Because we have to give them a good wash. We're going to can the stems as well. I'm just doing the prep work now. And then after the prep work is pretty much done in terms of the spinach has been cooked, cools down, I can put it in the fridge. Because I got jars in the fridge. I got jars in the oven for the little bit of raspberry that was frozen, right? And I'm just going to can that up as is. And then when I'm ready for that, in terms of using it, because it's just kind of just raspberry is thick, right? I want to try and grind them up first. I want to grind up some in Amari's little thing here and see how well they grind up. Because when I go to use them because of the seeds, I want to grind them up. And then, I don't know what I'd use it for. Maybe a jelly roll or something like that, but I have to see how it grinds up, right? But I don't know, people. I don't know. I have to be brave. When I have an appointment with this eye specialist, he's going to check to see, I guess, if more of my octave nerves died on me. Right? But that's not until October. And like almost every time I go see him, I ask him to change the cataract lens. Oh no, because if we put another one in, you'll start getting floaters and blah blah blah, and just get some glasses. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I think it's more than that. Ever since he put this cataract lens in, everything got blurry. And it's just getting blurrier and blurrier. And now things are blending even more together. So we're going to let these leaves soak for a while. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then we've got the stems. Now you can do collard greens, Swiss chard, kale, endive, bok choy. You could do amaranth greens. Every plant, amaranth greens. You can, all kinds of stuff. The Chinese broccoli, leaves, just the whole 9 yards. So now I'm going to have to take those, right? So I'm going to cook up the spinach first, just slightly, and then I'm going to keep the juices too. Whatever these things are leaching in juice, spinach releases a lot of juice. It's actually very, very tasty. So I'm definitely going to save the juice as well. And then when I fill up my jars, I'll be filling them up with whatever liquids I have from these, and then just topping them off with water, right? Hold on. Pretty soon you won't be seeing that pot. Nope. I won't be able to see it myself. As soon as I can't see it, that's it. Kind of makes you wonder what people are going to do with it when I can't use it no more. Yeah. So the majority of this will be canned up. I washed my jars. I have to label them, but I'm hoping that in a couple of days from now my eyes will adjust and I'll see just a little bit better, but probably not. It's very hard to cope with. Yeah. Very, very hard to cope with. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this. Because I want to show people that it works, especially for Amari. Not only are you avoiding shrinkflation, because you get to fill up how much you want in your jar, but you're getting better food, especially if you go organic as much as you can. It's cost saving if you can grow some of this stuff yourself, whether it's spinach, Swiss chard, kale, just the standard, or whatever, or you happen to get lucky and have something like what I have growing in my yard, but you know as soon as they rip up the yard, that's just going to be another plant that's going to disappear slowly but surely in the province of British Columbia, Canada. Just like the apple trees, just like the pear trees, just like the plum trees, just like the peach trees, and so on, and the grapevines, and the blackberry bushes, and the raspberry bushes, unless, of course, you're that upper middle class living in a gated community where you have all those things with peacocks running around because you're quote-unquote semi-rich. Just saying. But as for everybody else, no. You won't have it growing in your 2-bedroom, 800 square foot luxury condo. Yeah. With my play equipment up on the roof. Outside play equipment, that is. Because you know that went somewhere. It wasn't thrown out. Nope. But it's okay. There's a reason why we die. So we can put it behind us. And not let it hold us back as we move forward. Yeah. In the afterlife, wherever that is. Yeah. Some of us go down that way and stay down there. And then we crawl up that big black sooty hole to cause havoc. Because we're bound to those chains. Where others, well, I don't know. Sometimes we come back. For whatever reason, I do believe there's old souls, new souls. The newer the soul, the more apt you're to come back. The older the soul, well, Maybe we come back to be messengers to warn what's walking on this planet, to which I think a lot of it goes in one ear and out the other ear. That's been my experience. There's too much crime within the human race, and too much deviant. I'm doing this for the next caregiver, and I hope they'll do this for Amari's sake. But I don't know. I can't predict that, right? I can only do what I can and hope. Because Andre's too young to do this. And he bucking the bullet, eh? He's got too many negative role models that try to be positive. Don't ask me how that one works, but that's the way it works. Yes, positive in some things, but extremely negative in others. Will they miss me when I'm gone? Probably not. Anything that comes out of their mouth will be just words. Yeah. They're not gonna miss me. No. I don't think so. Andre will miss me. Amari will miss me. Not so much Marcane. Not so much Tisha. And then who's left? They're all on the other side. Uncle John's on the other side. Sierra's on the other side. Shemai's on the other side. I miss them. Yeah. It's too full to take a spoon to it. I have to flip it by hand, right? It doesn't take long. Just don't burn your fingers. Clearly you don't want to can it raw. Doesn't work. So I'm going to do this a couple of more times. Next time I'll do it with kale and that marrow plant. So this time it's spinach and marrow. I might do a couple of jars just with straight up marrow. I might do a couple of jars with just stems and nothing but stems. But other than that, I'm combining the two of them together. And then at some point, who knows, I'd like to do it again with kale, right? Or Swiss chard. One or the other, or both. And then I'd like to have a few jars just of the marrow by itself. So I don't know, we'll see. And I gotta do raspberries and fish. If I can accomplish that over the next month, basically, then I can put the canner away. And it might be the last time I can, if this situation doesn't change. Yeah. Because it gets hard, right? You know? And then when you're depressed because of just whatever, because you don't know what's going to come and attack you because of fucking weeds in the yard or something dumb yet. You don't think I don't worry about those weeds? Hell yeah. get rid of this and get rid of that. Yeah, whatever. Why not just get rid of me? Yeah. See, you don't need a lot of eyesight to do this kind of stuff. You just need patience. That's all. That's all you need. Much of what I do because of patience. That's one thing when you go blind. You have to find patience. More than you've ever had in your life. Yeah. So let me do this. See, it's already shrinking down. I gotta focus so I don't burn myself. Hold on. Okay, so you can see what I did there. Nothing fancy. I'm gonna just do it all at one time. I already cut them up, so I'm gonna put that in there. Okay, and I'm gonna start cooking this up. That's the juice from the spinach which I'll be using. There's the spinach that I'll be using. And then there's spinach. I don't know where it is. Can't see the container. There it is, right there. That's going in the fridge. Listening to children being abused with their caregivers. Wow. Okay, so this, I'm going to have the lid on this one, and I'm going to cook it for a little while anyway. Just get it going, right? And then when I turn it down, stir it around, put the lid back on. I'm going to cook it because it's a heavier leaf, right? I'll tell you, if Shimei was here, she would learn how to do this. Even Sierra would learn how to do this if, you know, she was alert, right? Not doing drugs. She would learn. But Shimei, for sure. Shimei was already learning before she was murdered. Yeah. And then the great RCMP, right? Royal Canadian Mounted Police, covered it up for those kickbacks when it comes to illegal organ harvesting. It's just a fact. Yeah. So I'm left here to do this all by myself as I go blind. Wow.
The size of our clientele
as I listen to these horrid stories with these horrid people abusing small children.
My business has grown 900% since using Jobber. I love Jobber.
Anyway,
absolutely
after this is done, I'm going to put it in the bowl, let it cool, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge right along with the juice of the spinach. I will taste the juice of this after the fact. If I like it, fine. So be it. I'll keep it.
Year-old had a skull fracture from blunt
I don't
head
know
trauma,
how many jars I'm going to get.
damage and bleeding around the brain.
We'll just play it by ear.
The examination
This is just a
revealed
trial run with
systematic
this
torture,
leaf.
a broken pelvis,
I don't know what
two
to call
broken
it.
arms,
Yeah, listen to this.
fractures of fingers and toes, foot bones, and several ribs.
Every bone in the
He was
body.
bleeding from his right ear, had a cut on his forehead, numerous bruises, and bleeding in his eyes.
And because he was placed
Most
into that
injuries
home
showed
through
signs of
social
healing at
services,
different stages.
nobody
Proof
went to
that
jail.
Amari had been beaten regularly for weeks.
Yeah.
The staff at Cook Children's was ready to fight for Amari's life. But within an hour, it became clear that the child had devastating, life-incompatible head trauma, and surgical efforts would be useless. During the next 36 hours, Ariana and Rodney never left their son.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this in any kind of cooking. It's bitter. It has a bite. It's kind of like that plant agar or whatever they call it. It's like a little leaf. And they put it in salads and stuff. I don't necessarily like it. Now, mind you, I had a really big leaf, so it's like anything, right? The bigger the leaf, the stronger the taste. So maybe if I, oh yeah, just even a little bit, you can taste it. I don't know if it's worth canning. Honestly, I don't know how I can put this in the food where the kids would actually eat it. I could understand why Asians might like it. Because, but the stems aren't so bad. They're more palatable. I'd have to get the really small little leaves and try that out to see if I could maybe sneak it in. I mean, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be living on the farm here and eating what's available, but no. If you want to get rid of worms in your gut, eat this stuff. Serious. I can't even eat it. No. I don't think I should waste my time. Seriously, save my jars for the fish or something. I tried it. I even tried to get like sauces and stuff, right? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if I mixed it in with a sauce or something, I was thinking. I bought these two things to, for this, right? Well, just imagine. I'll just put that in there. I don't think so. No. The only thing I can think of is try and get the small leaves. Maybe the small leaves might work. Maybe. Otherwise, and this thing, I didn't really like the way they had this thing packaged either. They just had a little piece of plastic around it. I pulled off the plastic, went to open it up to see, if I could, right? And the bloody thing is already like that. It's like hardly even, I don't know. I'm just going to put that in there. Just let's pretend. And this is a sweet soy sauce. I didn't, right? Just thought I'd try it out. It's expensive. Got it at Walmart. I don't know. Almost $7 for this stupid thing. Right? And then I got a chili, like a chili oil of sorts. So, oh boy. Andre and his sugar. So we're going to try this chili oil. I don't think I'm going to can this. No. We're just going to put a little bit of that in there. Alright. Okay. We did that. No, I don't think so. And then we're going to do just a tad bit of salt for the sake of it. Because those things aren't that salty. Oh, what's this? Yeah. Himalayan salt. Oh God, as if I can open it, right? There we go. I'll just add a little pinch of that in there. Alright. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to upload this video, people. It's not a very enthusiastic video, that's for sure. Okay. See, you got to kind of grow up with this kind of food. If you don't grow up with it, I don't know. Okay. You can see what's going on there. So now we're going to taste it. because that's what they said. You have to mix it up with a sauce, and then I guess it's more palatable. Which, in this case, I would agree. You see, you don't taste the bitterness now. Now, what you get is a little bit of the sweet sauce and a little tad bit of the chili, bite of the chili, and just a little bit of salt. And it's now you can eat it. But I could never feed it to Amari. No. And I don't think Andre would ever eat it. Andre!
What?
Come here and try this. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me if you like it.
It's just one weekend server. What is it? What'd
Here,
you add?
Take it.
What did you add?
Sweet soy sauce, chili.
Crunchy.
Yeah, it's a leaf from outside. It's that plant that grows crazy out there.
And a tiny bit spicy.
Is it worth canning?
Really crunchy.
Well, that's the leaf. I mean, I could mix it up with spinach, but like, would you even eat that?
I thought you add some of this on there. It tastes like this for a second. I'm like,
No, I know that. Well, I don't know about that. Andre says it kind of tastes like this, which apparently costs $15 at Costco's.
It's good though.
It's good, yeah, but do you taste the bitter in the leaf?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like it, but it's strong.
You like it, but it's strong.
Yeah. But that leaf has like a really strong flavor to it.
Oh yeah, try it by itself. Tell me what you think of the leaf by itself. Just take a bite of the leaf by itself, and then you'll know why I did that.
Tiny piece.
I'm debating whether I should can it or not. What could we possibly do with this? Like, you have to have a sauce with it.
Yeah.
There's no... I know, it's rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. Even if I mix it in with freaking spinach, it's going to overwhelm the spinach. So what do you think? What would you do with this? I mean, if I'm going to can anything, I would prefer to can Swiss chard or kale, even if I have to buy it. This stuff is free. I don't know.
I like it, but it's just really strong.
Well, what could we eat it with? Because we won't be able to give it to Amari. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know.
There's no way he'd eat that.
I don't know. Try with some of this.
No, I wouldn't waste that. I'd pay too much money for that. You can only eat it for so long, too. Well, I don't think so. The only thing I can think of... I'm getting drunk off this stuff. That's okay. That can go out to the compost. I don't want it. I tried it. Like I said, if you don't like it, don't can it. I don't like it. That can go out to the compost. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna eat spinach now. No. Alright. Well, so much for that. I'm not counting it. No way. Okay, next day. I'll finish this video. I don't know what kind of video this is, but I think it is January. I wish it was January. Before the city of Surrey showed up with that whip on my back, right? Anyway, June. I think it's June 23rd of 2025. It's either the 23rd or the 24th. I think it's the 23rd because it's Sunday. Yeah, it's the 23rd. So I got my 10-inch little frying pan. I'm looking at it. Next video will feature that frying pan. I found a lid for it that fits, but I'm going to keep looking for a different one. Anyway, I'm looking at it, right? At the size of it. And I'm thinking, I already have enamel. Well, maybe not with the pour lips. You see, those ones have a handle and another, right? So you can, and then it has a pour snout on each side. So it's, right? That's the nice thing about those pans. And they're fairly deep, right? But I'm pretty sure. What are you doing? You woke up? You heard me talking? Is that it? You've been laying there, moving around, quiet as a little mouse? As soon as I said something, you start squawking? Nana talking about your frying pan? Yeah. I'm trying to think what I'm going to cook in it today. Yeah. I'm so tired, people. You don't even know. Just keep chugging along, though, right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure I have other pans that are similar to that, but not like with the handles. Anyway, I'm happy with this pan. Very happy with it. So I'm going to see if I can find another lid that maybe will fit slightly better than what I've got. I mean, I've got one that goes over it. It's a glass one, but I have to dig to get to another one that I may or may not have. Remains to be seen. Not worried about it at this point. Okay, so next video will feature the pan, the new pan. We'll cook with the two pans. We'll cook with two pans at one time. But before I do that, I still have those raspberries in my fridge. I was supposed to do them yesterday, but it didn't happen, and then I tried to do that plant from outside, but no. I'm not going to can up something that I'm going to be wrinkling my nose up even before I open the jar. Right? And then smothering it with a bunch of sauce that I don't necessarily like because I didn't grow up with it, as in an Asian person maybe grew up with it, right? I don't expect Asian people to eat the foods that I grew up with and like them any more than they should expect me to like their foods that they grew up with and liked. Don't mind me. I don't mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind like hot chilies every now and then, but only with certain things. Okay. Not with a bitter leaf. Although it was kind of citrusy, you know, it had a citrus bite to it. It probably has a lot of nutrients. Now, I am going to go at some point in the next month, maybe within the month, right? And I'll find the smaller leaves. I'll try this because, you know, the bigger the leaf, the bitter, the more bitter the plant, the leaf becomes, right? Like a dandelion. Like you want to go for the baby shoots versus the big ones, right? Unless, of course, you just want to eat dandelion and it doesn't matter to you, right? Well, I'm going to just take that principle and maybe I'll try it again and just get the smaller leaves with the smaller stems. The stems are pretty good, but the leaves can have a bite and there is a citrus flavor to them, like not a citrus, well, I don't know if it's a citrus flavor, but there's a citrus afterbite to it. So it's probably very high in vitamin C, I would think. And I'm sure it's high in a whole lot of other nutrients. And I'll tell you, if you wanted to use it as a parasite remover in your gut, eat a whole bunch of that all at one time. Any parasites in there, I'm sure you'd get rid of them real freaking fast. So, you know, if I had to say what would I use it for, I'd use it to get rid of parasites, as well as probably for the nutrients, right? But besides that point, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll cross that bridge in a month from now when I'm caught up with things. We'll make an attempt to do the smaller leaves. We'll taste it. If I like it, I'll can a few jars. If I don't like it, say la vie. All right, and that little bit of spinach that I cooked for that purpose, I'm just going to... I'm using up those jars that were in the freezer downstairs in the living room there, the one that blew out. And we'll give Marina the benefit of the doubt, because I guess when my son took it out, underneath it had, because it was sitting on a carpet, right, that for years, right, well 14 years ever since I moved in, and that carpet sweats and is mildewy because of the subfloor and just whatever. I guess I don't know if it was molded or rusted out, or it was no good anyway. I think it was a combination of several things, because Andre said it was black underneath there. So it had been sweating for years, and just through the moisture of the floor, because we have a problem with that basement with the subfloors, right? And you know, it doesn't have a cement barrier to prevent sweat between the cement and the subfloor, right? And the carpets and just whatever. So besides that point, so we'll just assume that we won't assume. We'll say we'll forget the assume part. Okay, we'll give Marina the benefit of the doubt. It was a God moment for her, where it started to smoke so that she could unplug it and the thing could go, because it had served its purpose for 33 years and did the best it could on a moldy carpet. Mildewy, not moldy, but, you know, a basement that has a high humidity because of the subfloor and just the way things are. And, yeah. So that's gone. But those little jars that were in there for Amari, I'm starting to use them, so I already got a few of them available. And I'm just going to throw that spinach into those little jars and pop them into a freezer where there's a little bit of space. I don't worry about that right now. So in the next month, again, or so, after I do the fish, because I have to do that fish because it's in their freezer and they're not going to want it there for very long. So in the next couple of weeks or so, I'll do the fish that's there. I'll can that up. I've got jars for it. And raspberries. And then after all that's all said and done, if I want to have spinach and kale and that kind of stuff canned in jars for convenience over the winter as I'm making Amari's food or food for all of us, then I'll just go to a little local grocery market, you know, where there's lots of different types of vegetables or whatever, or I'll send Tisha, she found a little place she says really good, and I'll just spend the 50, 60, 70 bucks, whatever it is. I'll buy the kale, buy the spinach, blah blah blah, and I'll just can it all up fresh and be done with it, and it's done. Other than that, what I did can, I'm happy with. I wish I could have canned the leftovers, but with the Mari seizure, it kind of put a break on it. And by the time I chose the meat first when I got back from the hospital versus the kale, and then, you know, I should have done the kale the next day, but I didn't, and blah. And by the time I finally thought I maybe had time, I took a bite of it. It was okay, but it had no real flavor, so I said to hell with it. I let it go. It was a lot, but whatever, it's okay. I don't care. And so I want to see about these raspberries. If I think they're okay, I'll take a bite. If I like the taste and they're looking good, then yeah, I'll can them up just for the sake of it. And then as the raspberries are coming in from outside, I'm going to can them in quart-sized jars and light syrup for just dessert, whatever, however, and fish. Just keep plugging away. All right, keep plugging away. That's it. And just focus on Amari's meals. Yeah. I'm trying write as much as I can when I can in this. Right? I started yesterday talking about home canning for this type of situation. And I don't know if these glasses will work. For home canning for nutrition, for volume, so you can avoid that shrinkflation, right? You know, especially if you're weighing out what you put in the jar before you put in it, then you know exactly how much the weight is, so that if you're interested in calculating the calorie count, you already have the grammage. So that's what I mean by volume, right? If you want 200 grams in a 250 jar size milled jar, then you weigh in 200 grams, easy peasy. So as you calculate your meal to get your calorie count, it will be easier, right? And then for convenience, obviously, right? It's when you're dealing with a child like with Amari, the more you can make it convenient to make his meals regularly, especially as they bulk up, because the child is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so obviously the portions get bigger and bigger, and you know, and like it's easier to grab a 200 size jar grams of kale already processed, ready to go, 200 to 300 grams of meat already processed, ready to go. Put those in your pot, and then maybe combine in your fresh sweet potato or whatever, as well as you've got your dehydrated vegetables if you want, and then you've got your barleys, you've got your lentils, right? You see it all, right? But when it comes to the meat and certain vegetables, I just for myself, how I struggle with this, it's just nice to know that you can open up a jar and you know you've got 200 grams or 300 grams or 250 grams or 400 grams, because the bigger they get, you're going to have to increase the portions, right? Right now we're just working with the 250 milligrams of jars. And different meats, they come in weighing different too. Beef is heavier than chicken. Yeah. So you got to keep that in mind too, right? So I wrote that down anyway, but oh yeah, and then I wrote the types of greens that you could can for this purpose. And as I do this, I'm going blind as a bat, and I'm trying not to let it disturb me. And I'm trying to stay positive, thinking that this will follow Amari, and whoever looks after Amari after I can't do it no more will appreciate my effort, seriously. Otherwise, he's going to end up getting processed foods, a modge podge of this, that, and everything that may or may not work for him. And I don't know, people, I just don't. Or maybe they'll just stuff him full with those supplemental drinks, and he'll stop eating again. And, you know, it's just like anything is possible after I'm not around anymore, you know? It's just like stupid. So collard greens, you can like home can, pressure can, right? For 75 minutes, 1 pint sized jar. Collard greens, kale, beet leaves, Swiss chard, bok choy, turnip greens, dandelion greens. I got lots of dandelions in my yard. Chinese broccoli, endives, green amaranth leaves. So what you do is you plant amaranth out in your yard, and apparently they get quite big. And then you not only can harvest the seeds, but you can also harvest the leaves. So maybe next year, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I try not to get sad about it, but I tell myself, God's just releasing you from this ball and chain that you have on your body, because it's not on just both ankles, but it's on my wrists, it's on my neck. You know what I mean? I've got them on my legs. You know, it's like, it's an earthly thing. It's an earthly thing, you know? So by going blind, those balls and chains, they start to get released, because I'm not obligated to do the daily grind, be the dish maid, be the batting board. Well, I'll probably always be the batting board, especially when it comes to my kids, because for whatever strange reason, they seem to think that I owe them something, that I shortchange them because I don't own a house where they can inherit the house, so they can sell it and have money to buy their own house, or where I could get a second mortgage on my house to give them money to go off and buy a house. You know, like, I don't know where this mentality comes from, because my mother kicked me out when I was 18. Okay, and I had left home when I was 14, and I didn't go back home until I was 16, and even then I wasn't with my mother. I was with my grandmother. And then the little time that I spent with my mother when I was 18, because I ended up going back home at one point for a short period of time when I was 18, and yeah, she ended up kicking me out. And I ended up with a man that beat me like till no tomorrow at 18 years old. That's the one where, you know, he caught me in the bathtub and almost freaking drowned me and dragged me out of the bathtub with pulling me by my hair and threw me on the bed. Told me he was going to come and you know what, and that I shouldn't move. And I said, to hell with that. I ran to the window. It was an old farmhouse, 100-year-old house, right? It had a nail in the wood. I had to rip out the fucking nail. Sorry, boo-boo nail. Right? Lift up the window, climbed out the window, jumped onto the roof of the porch or whatever, jumped off the porch and ran away and never came back. And that was it. And then the only time I came back home for a minute, like a week, was because my mother had moved to Victoria. Went back to Victoria, and then I got pregnant with Brooks. And by the time I was like, I don't know, 7.5, 8 months pregnant, I phoned her up. I said, can I come to Victoria? Right? Because, you know, I wasn't working out with Brooks's dad, right? And I was out there all by myself. She said, yeah. So I went there, went to her little whatever it was, and within a week, she threw me out. And I came home for nothing, just because. My mom was just that way. Right? And I came home, and all my shit was outside in the rain, with my suitcase wide open, with all my shit getting rained up. Yeah. So I had to gather everything up in the fucking rain. And then I went to my Auntie Jerry's for a minute. And she was the epitome of what was right. She had just gotten married, right? You know what I'm saying? She had twins, and she had this beautiful house. And, you know, in the end, she ended up losing her kids, her twins, and just, you know, for everything that she had right, everything just went sour and south on her. So for whatever it was, you know, I mean, the same kind of attitudes that my kids have, right? I see it. Like, I seen it already with my family, because you're young and da-da-da-da, and you know, so what? You get a fucking house, and, you know, there's no guarantee you're going to keep your house. There's no guarantee you're going to keep your marriage. And even if you do keep your marriage, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a healthy, happy, long-lasting fucking marriage. And even if it is, I mean, all you have to do is look at other people like the Eleanor Gildings in the world to see what kind of people they really are after the fact of having the illusion that somehow they're so much better than everybody else because they have money, property, a car, or whatever, when in fact they're criminals. Eleanor Gilding is a criminal. She should have went to jail, people. Right? You know, just, right? Just, and there's different levels of criminality, you know? Anyway, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. And then we've got the green amaranth leaves. So assuming I can see next year, I'll throw some amaranth out there and I'll grow some amaranth and I'll can amaranth leaves because I like amaranth. And mustard greens. Yeah. And a few other ones in there I'm sure you can add in. Okay? So you have a choice of many things to can. And depending on what you're going to do with them, you can either do them in 250 size mil for a situation like Amari's side dish, where making his meals, where it all gets blended in with whatever it is that you cooked up at that time, that you can spread out for 3 to 4 meals, right? That little 8-inch pan is divided into 3. The 10-inch can probably get 4 at this point. And we're pushing it. We're pushing it, people. Because there's just going to come a time when there's just not going to be enough room. He'll eat it anyway, more than likely. And then it'll upchuck at some point. So you always got to remember that with a child like Amari, right? And that's not unusual, okay? Lots of people have to face this issue. If it's not coming out on the other end, if you keep feeding, right? And you're feeding larger portions, and you know, it's always got to have that little heart of steel in there somewhere, one way or another. Okay, so anyway, I have enough cast iron pans, whatever, to do what I need to do, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Okay, I don't care about, you know, Bailey said she had a dream, da-da-da-da. I addressed it through comments with her, and, you know, she's pretty spot on with her dreams. There's women lurking around in my background, in the background of my life. There's several of them, not just one or two, but more, right? That are like, I don't know what the hell their issues are, but it's not anything I haven't faced when I was younger with women, you know, backstabbing me, stealing from me, you know, just causing trouble, just whatever, because they were jealous or spiteful or just who knows why people do the things that they do. Well, it's the same thing. The only thing is when you start to become disabled, it just makes it easier for them to be who they are without repercussion, because you can't really defend yourself. And then you become codependent to certain situations where you can't run away. And if you do run away, you have to walk away. It's not run. You have to walk away and leave everything behind. And maybe you might be able to come back and salvage something. But through that process, you're definitely going to lose something as you are being insulted, because the ones that are hurting you will never take responsibility for their bad behavior. As they over-expect for you to be in that, if it's your kids, that parental role. Well, you owe me. Why didn't you buy a house? Clearly, if you would have bought a house, you know, then you'd be in a better position to help me, whether alive or dead. Because if you're alive, we could second mortgage and you could help me buy a house. Or if you die, I can inherit the house. Or if you're alive and you sell the house, and then it's like my grandmother, right? Sell the house. You're getting too old. Sell the house. They convinced her to sell her house, even though they never fucking helped her with the house when she needed help with the house. It was only my mother who helped her with things that she needed in the house. Her bathtub floor, the floor that the bathtub was on was rotting out, and she almost caved in, right? It was my mom who came in and had her crew, her men friends crew, right? Men, workers, right? Come in and take up the bathtub and replace the freaking floor. It was my mom who came in and painted her walls for her, put freaking wallpaper up for her. It was my mom who had her crew come in and build downstairs suites so that my Uncle Nick, Uncle Harry, and Auntie Jerry could move in there when their marriages fell apart. But it was my mom who died first. So my grandma was at the mercy of her kids. And instead of helping her to live in that house, they wanted the money. So they forced her. They didn't force her, they bullied her. and dazzled and harassed her and just whatever until finally she gave in and she sold the house. And as soon as she sold the house, they were all sitting around the table. Gimme, 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 gimme my share. And she says, well, what about Mona's share, my mom's share, right? I'm going to give to Judy and Darcy. No, 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 no. They're grandkids. They're lowly grandkids. Don't give them nothing. Give it to us. We're the ones who need it. We're the ones who need to buy a trailer for ourselves so we have a place to live. We're the ones who want to start a business because we're the epitome of what is right. And we know how to run a fucking business. Give the money to us. We need the money. Yeah, and that's what she did. And she felt guilty and she gave me a measly $1,000. $1,000 to my schizophrenic freaking brother, as if he would know what to do with it. And I took that $1,000. I bought myself I think it was $600 I paid for this little Toyota Corolla. And I made plans to come to the mainland to start my own company because my family didn't want to help me. Yeah, because my mother was the black sheep of the family and somehow I deserved to follow her footsteps. Whatever. So I had to leave. I took that little Toyota Corolla and I got on a ferry and I came up the Alex Fraser Bridge. And because in Victoria you don't go no more than usually 30 kilometers an hour. And so when I got onto the mainland and like I'm only 20. I was only 25 people. I had 2 kids. Sierra was just a baby. She was only 8 months old. And I got up on that Alex Fraser Bridge, and everybody's zipping by me at 90, 100 kilometers an hour. I pushed it at 60, tried to catch up to 80. By the time I got to 65 kilometers an hour on that little freaking Toyota Corolla, it started shaking like this. I was so scared because never mind shaking, but I never drove on a bridge like that before because I lived in freaking Victoria. I was brave in those days. Oh yeah, I made it across the bridge and I tried to start a company. My second time, people, without my family's help. So I don't know where my kids get fucking off on. Well, why didn't you buy a house? And Mom, do you got money to help me to buy a house? And, put it on your credit cards. Just rack your credit cards up and give me some money for a house. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just, leave me alone, man. I don't have, well, you're a failure. You spent all this money on a nonprofit. And why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And I'm like, fucking just shut up, man. It's like so depressing, man. Like since when? But I look at my grandma and yeah, her fucking kids were the same damn way. Didn't she? There's no difference. Well, what is it? You pop out a kid and you're bound to them for your whole freaking life, one way or another. You either give them what they want and they'll be happy and they'll love you. If you don't give them what they want, they're moody and fucking rude and just flip-flopping and undependable and not reliable and, you can't trust them and, they hurt you and they insult you and they drop the ball as soon as it's convenient for them because they don't want to be responsible for nothing except hold you to being responsible to them even though they're already going into their 30s or they're past their 30s. Like, what the hell? They got good fucking money already. Why you bad? Why are you making me feel bad? Okay, I tried. My community was not there for me when I was 14. They were not there for me when I was 15. They were not there for me when I was 16. I tried to start companies. You can say my community wasn't there for me. My government wasn't there for me because they kept fucking shutting me down, right? Okay, they turn around and they cut me off of welfare with dependent kids and it shut me down again. Just as I was coming in with the nonprofit and stuff like that, put me out in the streets, middle of fucking winter in 2003. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. I kept my kids all under one roof as best as I could. I got us through. They never went hungry. They always had fucking beds. You know what I'm saying? They had a family. And they're still not happy. Because somehow I didn't do anything. I didn't do jack shit. They raised themselves. Yeah, okay. Whatever. So, Bailey, that's why you didn't see them. Because they're not there. They're there, but they're not there. They're there for, give me some money. Oh, Mom needs help. Okay, we'll help this time. Only because we want to save face. Not because they love me or they want to help me. It would only be out of, and I don't even want to say a sense of duty. It would be to save face, so they can say that they did help me. But it's bare bones minimum, and there's a whole lot of shit that I have to take for that help, depending on who we're just talking about. Right? Like a stupid. So I don't know who's going to appreciate this book, if I can manage to build it and put it together. Will they do it for Amari? Probably not. Probably not. But I have to try. And the only thing I can think of is, the only reason I'm going freaking blind is God is setting me free, slowly but surely, one way or another. Setting me freaking free. Yeah. From the rigmarole of hell on earth, basically. And where does that hell come from? People with money. Yeah, basically. Never fucking satisfied for nothing. No rhyme or reason around it other than I don't understand it. And not realizing that their loved ones love them for their money. Maybe that's why they're so desperate to have money, because they're so desperate to be loved that they know deep down in their core the only way that they can secure their love is to have money. Where I just accept the fact that mine don't fucking love me, and if they do, it's only for a fleeting moment when they want something, or when they feel guilty for a moment, and even then they would not feel guilty for nothing. No, because we live in this me mentality that's worse than it ever has been, because it's always been there, but now it's worse in terms of what's going on in society today, right? There is, right? Families, not all families, a lot of families are, yeah, you know, they stick together for, what is that, building generational wealth, but at what cost? To be an Eleanor Gilding, going around in the halls of the hospitals looking for vulnerable old people so you can steal their money, so that you can have generational wealth? Like, please, give it a break, man. Right? Taking people's stuff from their yards after 14 years of them giving up your life so that you can have generational wealth, because it somehow supposedly looks better from when you're ready to put it up for sale, even though you know it's just going to be bulldozed over anyway. And the people that lived in that to make it so that you could have a fucking profit are long gone and in the dust. They're, what do you call that, roadkill? Because that's where they end up, out on the streets. So what happens? You become roadkill. There's your generational wealth. Yeah. As whatever kids you may or may not have are badgering you to look after them, even though they're 4 years old. Or 28 years old. Or 50 years old, for that matter. Like with my grandma and her kids. My uncle's in their 50s. Yeah, sell your house. Come on. Hurry up. I want to start a business. It's my 50th business. I've done it before. I can be successful this time. But I need the initial investment. I broke up with my wife. I'm doing a solo now. Yeah, help me out, Mom. Same thing with my aunt. Same bullshit, whatever crap. Their businesses didn't last. Right? They tried. But it didn't work. They went into a kitchen. They started a restaurant. My auntie Jerry and Uncle Nick, they partnered up and opened up a restaurant. But in the end, it didn't work. They both lost it. And my Uncle Harry just drank himself to death in his little trailer. That's all he did. He just drank himself to death. And then he was the one that came to say goodbye to me. When he died, I guess he died in his bed or something in that trailer, because on the night that he died, he came to me. He sat on my chest, shaking me. I gotta go. I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay, go. No, I gotta go. Okay. He was gone. Got up in the morning, got a phone call, and told that he died. He came and he said goodbye to me, because he loved me. That's why. He actually loved me. That's why he came to say goodbye. Why else would he come to say goodbye to me? Just like when my grandma took me up to heaven when she died. She took me up to heaven. She told me where she was going to be. She told me not to worry about it. She told me that she wasn't going to live with all her kids as a, don't worry, Judy, you don't have to live with all your kids either when you die. And I'll see you again, but you're not ready to stay up here. You have to go back down. So she sent me back to Earth. Yeah, I woke up in the morning, I got a phone call, and she died that night. She came and said goodbye to me too. So there is an afterlife, people. I do believe it. I do, because two came to say goodbye. Right? So, I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. It's not easy, though, when you struggle with your eyesight. You know what? Nobody has a crystal ball, and I'm going to end it on this one. I have glaucoma. My eye specialist asked me, where did you get it from? I don't know. Anyone in your family have it? I don't know. Not that I'm aware of, but it could be. Only 6% of Caucasians get glaucoma. Only 6%. So I'm within that 6% of all Caucasians that get glaucoma. So I'm an oddball. And then what makes it even more of an oddball is that I have it severely, to the point where I'm actually going blind with it. But I'm not an isolated incident. In other words, I'm not alone, okay? Whether it's a Caucasian that's going blind somewhere else, or whether it's an African, or whether it's an Indian, like in terms from India, those kind of people, or an Asian from China, or places like that. Blacks are more prone to, black people of, you know, that type of heritage are more prone to get glaucoma. And Indians from India are more prone to get glaucoma, right? And millions of people actually do go blind from it. Okay, so it's, right? It's just like my eye specialist says, I'm one of the unlucky ones. Okay, so be it. So my kids are not out of the woods yet. They're not out of the woods. They don't have a crystal ball. They don't know if it's going to hit them in their 40s, and by the time they're 60 and 70 and 80 years old, they're completely freaking blind. Like, you know, they can't predict what's going to go on with their eyesight. You know, Tisha's dad has glaucoma. I have glaucoma. She's got two parents that have glaucoma. But because she can see right now, she's young, you know, she's picking up things. I look at her and she's picking up, and you know, and I'm like, I used to be like that. I had lots of energy. I could see, I could do things. I was strong, you know, whatever. And now it's like, I don't know. I don't know. There is no guarantees in life. Right, just live your life and try and be a good person as best as you can. Don't go out of your way to commit crimes. And, you know, I don't know what the purpose of the nonprofit was, other than it just allows my kids to hold animosity against me because, well, instead of investing in the nonprofit, why didn't you invest in a house? Well, because I wasn't allowed to. I was on social assistance. I could work for free, but I couldn't buy a house. I couldn't invest my money in a house, but I could invest my money into a nonprofit that maybe I could have built in some form of business through the trademark with the clothing and stuff, but, you know, that didn't happen. And then when I moved in here, I thought I could still try and do that, but little did I realize I'd be 12, 14 years out in a yard that basically ruined my life, left me with nothing, put me in debt, holds me hostage, keeps me in fear, and is now throwing me out on the streets at some point in the future because of the corruption around the whole system when it comes to building wealth for those families that want to build that generational wealth through overinflating the rental market to where people can't even afford to rent unless they're immigrants coming in with a whole whack of subsidies, to which I seen a video on YouTube where there's 3 different subsidies within the federal government as these so-called families are coming in, where, yeah, everything's paid for. Everything. So, yeah, the landlords, jack it up. Just like when the provincial government, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 years ago, they gave an extra $150 on people's welfare checks. It wasn't for rent. It was just for the cost of living because of that crap that was going on in 2020. As soon as that got passed, my landlord's knocking on the door, asking for rent, and then saying she wants to increase the rent. I'm saying I can't afford it. She says, yeah, well, you can because you just got an increase from the provincial government. I said, well, how would you know that? She expected me to give whatever the government gave me for living expenses to her. She wanted it. She felt entitled to it. That's what I mean. As soon as you get an increase, they want it. If they think they can get it somewhere else through the immigrants with more money, with more, because they tap into 3 different services. Like I said, the federal, the provincial, and then there's something else, and then if they can, in with the municipals. Yeah. That's why they're the preferred tenant now. Yeah. Right? And because of that, it's made the housing market impossible for people like my kids to buy into. And somehow it becomes my fault because I didn't prepare 30, 40 years ago by buying my own house so they can bamboozle me to sell it so they could take the money away from me like my uncles did to Grandma. Yeah. And the only thing left now is my life insurance policy, which isn't very much. And that's assuming that I don't get behind on payments again. Because I owe them money, right? And they charge me interest. And then if the interest starts to top it over because it maxes out, they can pull that thing out from underneath my feet. And then if that's the case, then when I die, there will be nothing. So, I have to pay into that to bring it down. So that at least they get a little something. Will they be thankful for that? Probably not. Are they waiting for it? Yes. Because that's all they want is money. Money. That's not what I had kids for. But if the housing market was decent, they could go get themselves a little apartment or something. Or get another house. And maybe they wouldn't be so mad at me in terms of renting. But because they can't afford to rent anything, somehow it's my fault because I didn't prepare them to live in their own house with their own mortgage, as if that was my responsibility when I gave birth to them. So see it as a warning for anyone that doesn't have kids yet. If you're going to have a kid, you better be prepared to look after that kid for as long as you live. And buy them a house and give them everything they fucking want. Because if they don't, they're going to talk rude to you. They're going to abuse you. They're going to mistreat you. They're going to insult you. They're going to take your shit from you as soon as they think they can do it. And they'll keep doing it because nothing will stop them. Because they'll convince themselves that they can do it because they're your fucking kid and they're entitled to do that. And then when you're dead, they'll still be running around looking for shit. Just look for that money under the mattress, right? Got to have a life insurance policy, maybe a safety box somewhere. Who knows? Maybe you buried it in the freaking ground. They'll be out there digging in dirt looking for a safety box buried in the garden. Who fucking knows? So when you have a kid, just remember that. There is no release from them. And if they release you, then you just will have a relationship like I have with Brooks. Nothing. Big fat fucking zero. They won't be there for you. They won't help you. No. So think twice before you have kids. Ask yourself what you're going to get out of it in the end. Unless, of course, you can maintain with that middle-class lifestyle and always hold that money over your kids' heads in order to control their behavior. Well, if you don't behave, I'm not going to put you in my will. You're not going to get your share. You have to show me respect before you get your share. But if there's no share, don't expect any respect. Because it's like that monkey see, monkey do. There's so many of them out there with that mentality that is very easy for your kid to jump on that bandwagon. Yeah. And it's written into the Bible that it was going to happen like that. And it's happening like that. So anyway, I got to have a good day today. I'm just going to do what I got to do. As much as I can do it. And when I can't do it no more, then I'm going to see it as a release from some things when it comes to hell on earth. And then you be brave to face other things. I'm surprised people haven't approached me yet to sign up for MAID. Wait till that video comes. Well, so-and-so came to me and said I should sign up for MAID because I can't see no more. And I'm just a burden to the taxpayers. And, obviously, clearly my kids can't cope with that shit. So, they're kind of encouraging me to think about it, Like, come on, people. Seen a video on that. All kinds of people in Canada are signing up for MAID. Yeah. And they're not even, like, terminally ill. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the day when somebody comes and approaches me on that one. Well, what would you do? I'd walk out the fucking door. I'd be a rebel on the street. Yeah. And then I'll be lured to my death like Sierra. I'll make it so that I need to write something where you can have my body. I give it to you fucking freely for science experiments because we already know you're going to steal it anyway. Go watch my videos. You're either going to make it into dog meat, a skin suit for your robotoid. Definitely you won't want my teeth because they're not, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And any organs, we know you're going to salvage them and capitalize off of that crap, so I might as well just donate them right from the get-go. Right? Just make it easy on you guys, right? Bring you to the light so that you don't have to go and be so decrepit with your criminal activity when it comes to body snatching. Tell the family one thing and do the opposite behind their back. Like, come on. It's a stupid life. Yeah. Well, everybody's running around chasing the almighty dollar for the most part. And there might not even be very much food in 10, 15, 20 years from now. Because of what's going on. Something's going on. They're like this, and I'll end it on this. They're bringing in those, and I did want to mention it, those universal incomes, little by little, surely by surely, through various methods and reasons. And once people get locked into those things, it's no different than being on welfare. No, they just changed the name of it. Universal income is just another form of welfare, which is another form of manufactured poverty. Yeah, where it locks people into a basic bare bone income that's below the poverty line. Okay, it is below the poverty line that is not dependable because it can be pulled out from underneath people's feet at any moment on the whim of anybody that's sitting behind a computer that wants to F with you. Whether it's at the direction of a new government that's looking to cut back on things, or whether it's just somebody that's vindictive and wants to hurt you and can do it without being held to account because they're anonymous in terms of a worker working for a government. Been there, done that, seen it with myself too many times. So with our governments trying to bring in this universal benefits for more and more and more people, well, it's not enough to pay for these little condos that they're building at $3,500 a pop in rent. So where do they expect these people to go? Even though they might give them X amount of dollars for support. Because they're not going to support them in these brand new condos, that's for sure. That's what I mean, it's a setup. You know, you already got the homeless people out on the streets getting their little universal income through their welfare check for support, but they're not getting their shelter because they have no shelter. And even if they got the shelter portion of that benefit in combination with their support, it still wouldn't even be enough to pay their rent, never mind buy food for themselves. Now, that's the world we're going into, with people not being able to get more and more jobs, as jobs are whatever, right? Lots of people can't get jobs now. They're losing their jobs. And they're going long periods in between finding new jobs. And even then, they're not paying enough or whatever, or whatever, or whatever. How is that all going to correct itself over the next 10, 15, 20 years? So I suppose my kids are mad at me because I didn't insulate them from that, as if I seen that coming. As if I had a crystal ball, knowing that those things were going to happen in today's age. It's all my fault that these things are happening, and I didn't protect my kids from it. Yeah, okay. By being I don't know what the hell they want from me, other than money. And being submissive when they want to boss me around and take my shit and tell me what to do and or whatever. Right? So think twice before you have kids. Seriously, okay?